All right, so here we're going to try doing a copy of a Van Gogh drawing. And I like the Van Gogh drawings because if you look at them close, you can see that they're made up of all little dots and dashes and very simple marks. But the way the visual information is organized is not so simple. But if you look close, you can see it's not magic. It's all made up of these simple dots, dashes, and little strokes with the ink pen. And so for this, I think we should draw with pencil to get the layout. And I wanted to say a couple things about composition. You know, for if you're drawing from a landscape, in this case, we're drawing from a reproduction, drawing from a drawing of a landscape. But if you look at the overall composition and just take the rectangle or the piece of paper that you're working on and divide that up into clear sections, so the clearest thing in the landscape is often the horizon line. So if you started with a line across your paper just showing where the horizon line is, that would give you one step towards getting the information of where it needs to be, or the parts of the drawing transferred. The horizon line in this is a little bit above the middle of the paper, but that's one big division that helps me out measuring where things are. And then there are a couple things that cross the horizon line. There are a few trees and a house that come above the horizon line. So that's I can measure that stuff and see how far it comes above the horizon line. There's also a path into the field that's coming from the bottom left corner of the drawing, and it's angling towards the horizon line off to the right a little bit, right of the middle. So if you took just two lines for the edges of the path in the field and brought those towards the horizon line, one more off to the left, one more off to the right, so it's getting narrower as it gets towards the horizon line. That would also be another way to divide up your drawing into sections if you have that path going back to the horizon line. In this example, you may be looking at a different example. But if you get the main forms down in your composition with the pencil, I also started to make a few marks with the pencil to just show maybe some marks in the foreground. The stuff that's closer to me would be bigger marks, and they might go a certain direction. And then marks in the distance might be dots or smaller dashes. So I started to do a little bit of the mark making with the pencil that I'll also be reinforcing when I go in with the ink. I'll be doing the ink marks with just the tip of that bamboo brush that you have in your art kit. And I actually had to take the brush once it had some ink on it. I had to sort of shape it so that it kept the point. But if you get it wet or get it into the ink wash or ink mixture, you may have to take your hand and shape it a little bit, but you can form it into a point to make the small marks anyway. One more thing I wanted to say about doing the copies of the Van Gogh drawings is we're not going to try to reproduce every mark. I can't make a perfect copy of a Van Gogh drawing even if I tried, but if you just look at the direction of the mark and the size of the mark in the drawing, and you start doing that roughly the size and the direction of the mark that you see, reproducing that, we can get something that approximates the drawing that Van Gogh did, and you can at least get the overall composition, the main forms in the picture, even if you don't reproduce every stroke. So yeah, we're not going to try to reproduce every dot and dash. Just wanted to say that.